Hey, thank you. I got a big hand for Ken and Mike. We do a lot of work with the community. And it's been a long road. We've been in the fight for a long time, and these guys have stuck to the guns and represented our community on our behalf. So really, shout out to you guys. You make it happen. It's interesting from my perspective as a council member. I want to be able to drive policy and make decisions and push things through and really have input. But in this kind of a process, my input comes when it comes before me at a council person level. So what I've been trying to do is work with staff to drive input directly through my city manager and my city attorney. And what I specifically sat down and told them, what I wanted to view from our perspective as a city and as policymakers, we owe it to the community to view this thing in the perspective of how any project fits in with the community, taking into consideration the historical development, taking into consideration the density transfer. My position's always been there's no density. Apparently there might be 135, who knows? So taking the consideration of density transfers, the open space and the interaction with the community, the curvy roads, the fact that all roads lead to the clubhouse, all these things show that this was a master plan community built around a golf course. Even the old resolutions state that the golf course someday is supposed to transfer into the ownership of the community through either an HOA or some other mechanism. So all this horse trading that was done back in the 60s and 70s was done via not zone changes or regular planning. They didn't use regular planning tools. They used what's called a use permit. So the permission was through this use permit, so they didn't have to do zone changes and general plan amendments to accomplish what they wanted to accomplish. Anyway, at the end of the day, I sat down and explained all this stuff to our city's planning staff, along with our city attorney and city manager, and said, this is how we should be approaching our analysis of this project. It's not vacant land that's been empty next to a housing subdivision that's zoned R17 that's within our general plan. That's not the context in which we review this project. It's with this other context. So I think they're doing that. I hope they're doing that. I don't get to deal with staff on a regular basis. And I know the studies and reports that the ECCHO board has submitted will help beef up our arguments. But we will have our day in court. The planning commission will be very reasonable. I know the council is going to be reasonable. We want something that fits in the community. That's the bottom line. I think we're all over the fact that there'll never be a golf course again. And I'm just hopeful that we can bring this thing to a closure and not drag it on over years of lawsuits and petitions and maybe another, who knows, maybe we need another initiative. I don't know where it's going to go. But I think for the community to start rebuilding and healing, we need to have something that's reasonable that fits in. And I'm just hopeful we'll get there. And I will fight and do everything I can to make that happen, because I feel we as a city owe it to the community to really get your backs covered, because this whole mess we've been in and been fighting with is a disaster, and we could have done a better job as a city crossing our T's and dotting our I's, and we didn't do it. So with that, any other complaints, email me, call me. Kudos, stuff you like, stuff you don't like. I try to respond to every email that comes across my desk. Sometimes it takes a while. I have a job and a family, along with being a council member. So just bear with me if I don't get right back to you, but I certainly will. I certainly try to. So I appreciate all you hanging out and hanging in there and coming out here and supporting the community. And again, just feel free to reach out to me with any concerns you have. So I'm going to turn it back over to